episode 7
of the Two Michelles
One Question
podcast. Yeah, we're getting deep today.
I know it.
We got Rob Sparks in the house.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Welcome
we're so
to the
excited to have you.
podcast, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me to come in.
We try and get professionals in their field on certain things. Yeah, experts in the field. And our question today required Rob to be here.
Yeah, because Rob is an expert. Today we're talking, do you believe in astrology? And, you know, Rob knows his stuff.
The stars and
I was gonna say,
Yes.
when the moon is in the
There's-
7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planets and love will steer the stars. Okay, that's an old song from the 60s.
which is funny because I'm like, that's the age of Aquarian, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the song, the age of the age of Aquarius. Yes, I have a little hippie side too. But Rob, why should people believe in it, or why do you?
You know, it's funny because a lot of people will
Or do
talk.
you?
Yeah, I do. I very much do believe in it. And a lot of people will tell you like you're kind of crazy if you do. I consider myself kind of a granola crunchy with it. But I think there's a lot that it tells you about who you are or who a person is. You know, a lot of people do like the Briggs and Meyer personality test and some other things. And if you know, a lot of times, if I know what your sign is, I kind of know what I'm dealing with, whether it be good or bad. And sometimes more so, I will go and like look more into it and be like, oh, this is why. Okay, I get it. Like for instance, people who are Scorpios, Scorpio, they tend to sting more. Like with the
Ooh.
they're a little more short with their temperament. So sometimes if I'm like, wow, why are you so like you're just kind of coming at me? Why is it? When's your birthday? And if they're like, well, I'm a Scorpio, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. They're also good people. They're not bad people, but it's just that one thing, you know, like they're gonna quickly be like, what do you? That's a dumb question. Of course I'm busy.
They're horrific. We can't stand it. None of us are Scorpios, right?
No.
None of us are. Yeah.
No, that's interesting. So how you as a manager, how you can relate then, because it was like a personality test kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or what color are you? Or, you know, all those other
like
tests.
all those different, you know, like
Yeah.
what's your Enneagram number or whatever. Also, because I used to do that while I've worked for places that couldn't afford the personality test.
Yeah.
So the quickest way to learn people would be, so for instance, like I had a friend who was an Aries and I actually like working, I'm a Taurus. So I like working with Aries people because they're good stuff. They're very curious. They get bored easy. So they bounce around. They were always, you know, if you say, hey, do you want to go jump off a building today? Like with a parachute, they'll be like, yeah, let's go. But then at the
Really?
same time, if you're sitting there and you're like, because I'm a Taurus, so I'm a little slower with things. So I'm like, well, I don't know if we got to do something or I got to get up and go. And it's like, okay. So like my nephew is also an Aries. And I know when he comes over, he's going to be very like, I can sit for a minute, but then I'm ready to go. And it's like, oh, well, I know that's who you are.
Aren't the bulls, the Taurus, stubborn though? Stubborn like a bull.
We are. Yeah. We're very stubborn, we dig our heels in. We're slow to make decisions. It's funny. The Taurus, as a Taurus, I feel like everything's negative about us because it's like, you're like a bull in a china shop. When you're mad, you're really mad. And when we need you to make decisions, you're really slow to do that. You love your routine, but I also I love earthly things. So I love going out and having good meals, and I like seeing art. Like I'll buy art stuff because I like that. Like I like the look of stuff.
Are you a nature person?
I am. I'm a big water person.
Yeah.
Because obviously
Stay
Taurus is an earth sign. So I am grounded when my feet are in the sand or grass.
Michelle, do you believe in this?
I totally do. I mean, I read my horoscope and I feel that because I do think that I reflect a lot of what a Libra is. My daughter's a Taurus. And as you're going through that, Rob, I'm like, yes, check all the boxes, those things. And I definitely believe that. And I don't know why.
Do you do anything based on it though? Like if she's what are you a
Libra?
Libra.
She's a
So
Libra,
if there's like a full moon or if the Libra's past, is there a time when she should make decisions, not make decisions based on, is that a thing?
Yeah. So anytime if they say stuff like right now, Jupiter's in retrograde in Gemini.
What does that mean?
So what that means is like, because it's in retrograde, so Jupiter in Gemini would be a whole different than Jupiter in retrograde. So let's say Jupiter is I can't remember if it's Uranus or Jupiter. One of them though is very like fun. I think it's Uranus. It's very fun and everything. So it's mostly about having fun and living. But when it's in retrograde, you're going to take more time to think. So like Uranus is in Taurus and it's in retrograde. So it's
Okay.
reflecting change. It's how you see beauty. It's how you interact with money. So maybe you've been spending too much money, but now you're in retrograde. You're realizing you need to save more. Jupiter in retrograde in Gemini is introspection,
Philosophizing, thinking.
Yeah, however you say that word.
Introspection covers it.
You say a lot of it.
Overthinking.
Where you might not always do that. You might be more quick to make decisions if Jupiter wasn't in retrograde, but it was in Gemini. So yeah, if a planet or the moon happens to be in your sign, if it's the full moon in Taurus or whatever, it's going to be more potent for you anytime.
So things are going to feel more. So what if she's Libra? What traits? What is she?
So she's diplomatic. She's fair-minded,
Check, check.
Very social. Like she's very social. She likes art and aesthetics and beauty and stuff. Like that's kind of your thing. Probably the negatives would be indecisiveness. Sometimes
Same.
more of a people pleaser than you want to be. Yeah, and then and because the big one is you're just not confrontational.
No, yeah. I'll go hide under a table before I want to be confrontational with anyone.
But are there certain times of the year where confrontation's better for her? Because I feel like, here's why I say this. I feel like in the past, not so much now, but this summer and fall, you had to do some confrontational stuff, and you did, and you stood up for yourself in a few different ways.
And did it happen? Did it line up to where your birthday was around the same month of your birthday?
It was a year. I mean, I don't know if
when is your birthday?
October 2nd.
Oh, did I miss your birthday? Miss your birthday. Listen, it's about me. Enough about you. Did I miss your birthday? Really, Michelle? Are you a Sag? No pun intended. No, but
it was a bit of a confrontational year, I would say, for the most part. But I do feel like those are all very on point.
But I was going to say, so with the Libra part of it, then you've got life path numbers to go with that too, which is all part of the energy field of astrology as well. So like, for instance, we're in a 9-year.
9 is my lucky number. I know we're in a 9-year and I love that.
Really?
9 is my lucky number.
And how you find that out, what year you're in is the 2025, you add it all up and it becomes a 9.
Okay.
And so, yeah, 9 is all about things coming of culmination and you kind of reaping what you've sowed for the whole, because each year, you go 1 through 9. So it's been a 9-year journey that we're now at the 9th year. But so that's where we universally are. But also you have a life path number that you live too. So like my whole life path is an 8.
Why?
Because it's it's your birth, it's your entire birthday. You add it up. And then
your time of your birth too? Or just the day?
Yeah, it has something to do with the time. Yeah, the time of your birth too goes into it. There's calculators that will tell you where you're at. But like I'm in an 8, so mine is that I'm supposed to be from, if you believe in like past lives and stuff. This is my year, or this is my life that I'm supposed to be I've learned lessons and I'm supposed to be getting better, more abundance from it.
Oh, you knew?
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually happening. It feels a lot like I keep missing the train on it.
I know, same. So I'm just going to say, don't say it when it's. But why is your lucky number 9?
I don't know. It always has been. And I don't know what it is about 9. I've just always liked the number. Like since I was a kid, it's always been my favorite.
Mine is 6, which is an upside down 9. Right? No, mine is 6 is just my favorite number. It's always been my favorite number for no reason.
Which is funny, 6 and not 69.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
Oh, good. Because
I know that this isn't the
Uranus. I was like laughing over here, and I'm like, I'm a 6-year-old boy.
Somebody say duty, and I'm in. That's the truth. Somebody say my duty, and oh my God, we're complete.
So I'm glad we all had our moment.
He said Uranus. I thought, stop it.
You're like Uranus is fun or something, and I was like, wait, what?
Wow. Okay. But you mentioned around her birthday, is around her birthday a time of, reckoning? Like, what is that about?
It's not necessarily a time of reckoning. It's more though, that's a potent time. So that's the time that you were born in. So like when you're in the Libra season, that's when you're going to see the best of your growth, because that's yours. That
I think
it's when you were born and everything. And that's when it happens. So like, May for me, I'm May 3rd. So April 21st through May 21st is Taurus. And so like I usually find I have better relationships at that time.
Huh.
I feel more, I like things seem to work out. It's funny. I got fired one year and that's when my unemployment came through. It was during my Taurus season. Like how weird. Yeah. I don't know why, but that was when it came through.
It's spring too. Spring is like, spring is,
rebirth.
Yeah.
that's
Because
great.
you've also got the rebirth. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So's fall.
Well, and now let's talk about Sag, girl.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going to say,
Let's go
so,
down that road.
which is funny because my mom's a Sagittarius too.
This year, my birthday was actually on Thanksgiving.
Which was that awesome for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish
We
I
ran the turkey trot.
Yeah. Woo!
That's yeah. So you're you've got you're very optimistic. You love adventure.
Yeah.
You love having more freedom.
Yeah.
Those are all positives. Negatives would be you're a little flighty.
Yep.
You're impatient.
Yeah.
And I know this from just the other day. Also clumsy.
You just spilled a glass of water.
I just filled a glass.
I know.
I just spilled a glass of water over there. Liked it.
See?
Yeah. Oh, I'm good. Completely.
Also,
clumsy.
you kind of
Full
when
in
you had to make a
attention.
big decision, you're either great at it or you're horrible at it.
Yep. That's the truth. I don't like making them, but if I need to, I am the one who will tip it in. I'm the one who will pull the trigger if I have to.
Yeah.
In any relationship, we got to pull this trigger. I'll pull it, but I don't like to. I don't like to make a decision. I like to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because my mom's the same way where she's like, I would like to have someone else decide, but if we don't, she'll eventually go, all right, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. But then if you start arguing about it, then she's like, well, I've tried my best. I don't know. And it's like, no, hold to it. Like stick
I'll
with it.
hold. I think I'm pretty. I don't know. I believe that if I went to fire somebody and they were terrible, let's say they stole from the company and they said, you know what, I needed that money. I would go, oh, okay, you're back in your job. Like I'm like that too. I'd
You'll
rather
give a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, that's also because, yeah,
I don't like it's a decision. I'll go back on a decision.
No, I think that's healthy though. I think people who go back, I think that's sometimes you get new stuff and you need to go back on a decision.
Well, right. You're not afraid of making a mistake.
Right.
And you'll admit that.
But change is, I don't like change.
That's part of the Sagittarian.
Yeah.
Because I struggle with that too. Change to me is very scary and I don't want to do it.
For everyone, isn't it?
But
I don't know.
I don't know because I think so I have a friend who's an Aquarian and I feel like he and Aries, the two A's of they're always very into like, we need to make I'm bored. I need to change.
Oh, not me. I don't get bored.
Yeah, that's I love routine. So my thing is like, you get me in a routine and I like it. Life is always changing, but man, I'm going to really like, do we have to, I'm losing out on this or I'm missing this. And most of the time it does turn out great, but that first thought of change is one of the hardest for me.
So how much do you look into astrology when you are making key decisions? I mean, it sounds like you're a deep diver in this.
Yeah, you live it. You live it.
Yeah, I'm a little more. So yeah, it's interesting because Mercury in retrograde, which that happens 4 times a year. People are always like, oh, it's always Mercury's always, and my favorite is Gatorade's always in retrograde or whatever, like they try to make it funny.
Yeah.
But it happens 4 times a year. And that's the time when I'm the most cautious. I got to be honest. There are certain times I do pay attention and they'll say like, certain retrogrades, and I don't know them by heart, but certain retrogrades might lead to more fights with people you love right now or whatever. And I take that to heart and I go, okay, maybe I don't need to talk as much. Or as I start to get aggravated, I think, your horoscope said don't do this. But I really do. The Mercury in retrograde, though, I've actually changed because you're not supposed to get into contracts or talk finances and stuff like that. And one time I was actually looking for a job and they started talking to me about the contract and I pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. So I was a couple days outside of retrograde. They were mad about it and I couldn't tell them, but I was like, and what happened, this is the interesting part, was I waited and I kept pushing and they only had it was like you only get this amount of vacation, this amount of pay or whatever. We got just past retrograde and they go, you know what, if it'll get you to sign, we can do another week vacation.
There it is.
And I was like, oh my God. And that was the moment I went, this is real. This is real stuff.
Also, if you had told them you're waiting to get out of retrograde, they would not have.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's the downside is that
it
would have been taken back immediately. Well,
hey, freak show.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's the thing. I don't tell a lot of people. And we are now.
12 people that listen to this podcast
but
now
it is, but the legions of people who are subscribing, by the way, subscribe. It is true though. I believe in this too. I believe that they're like, when there's a full moon, there's more crime. There's more all of that.
Worked in a newsroom.
Yeah, I was just
You
gonna
know,
say.
full
yeah.
moon.
Right.
That's
Stuff
the thing.
gets real.
And
yeah.
we just had a full moon that just happened. And
Yeah.
I was trying to look into it. It's the full moon that happened in Cancer. And they say that it's supposed to bring the subconscious patterns and feelings to the surface. So they say that we're supposed to confront the hidden depths with courage and compassion. So you're really looking at the things that you try to hide from. And you need it. So if something you don't like about yourself, I always run late, or I talk too much, or I seem to ruin everything I step in. You need to look at it with more compassion right now and go, well, why is that? Is it maybe my approach that what I'm doing? There's a lot of things that you really can kind of take stock of yourself based on, different times of, and I feel like, especially from the beginning of 2025, it's been a little weird where we've actually kind of been like, because we've been in retrograde with
what's
Jupiter.
happening right now? Are we in retrograde now?
Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini, so that means we're starting to think more about stuff, and we're starting to like what works and what doesn't work. And it doesn't help that we're also with Uranus in retrograde. Which Uranus is in retrograde until January 30th, and that's where you're seeing more. You might be having more issues with money, or maybe you're actually surprised because you're saving more money than you normally do. But maybe you're like, I kind of spent more than I have. I don't know.
I haven't spent like that. I have not. I never spend. I have been. I still have tags. I have been on a little spending kick.
So it's this retrograde.
I blame TikTok.
I know. Well, that's true. Oh, I hope it doesn't go.
Right. You're getting it all in.
I know.
You're like, I'm using this retrograde and the end of TikTok all at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, but that's part of why you are, because you don't normally spend more. Like I'm usually more of a spender. And lately I'm looking at stuff going, wow, how do I have this much money sitting? I mean, it's not huge, but it's like,
no, but still,
I'm buying fast food and a lot right now. It's just whatever. But you'll notice in retrogrades, certain things happen where like periods of growth happen.
I feel different. And it's not because it's a new year, 2025. I just feel like I'm going through some sort of shedding or some sort of evolution. Something's happening right now, and I don't know.
So the other interesting thing is that power struggles are out. So that's why you're starting to see, like, we've seen it a little bit where, it's felt a little like there's there's a newly elected president and the one that's outgoing. And it's kind of felt like, wait, who's running the show these days? Because it's almost felt like they're kind of in tandem. And that's part of this retrograde is it's kind of shifting the whole powers dynamics of things. And that's why everybody's kind of like, what's happening? It's not just there, it's everywhere. I mean, think about like all the new, like even with the fires and stuff, you've seen there's so many power struggles going on in LA of what's right, what's wrong. And this is part of that retrograde. It's challenging what you know and what you think.
Like blaming each other.
Yeah, like that's part of this retrograde of and you'll see like once we hit it's February 4th for Jupiter in retrograde and it's the 30th for Uranus in retrograde. Sorry, I heard it just then.
But so after February 4th, things will calm.
You'll start to see things start to change after that. You'll start to feel a sense of relief until the next retrograde happens.
Not too far away. Okay, so other key question from me, Rob. Where do you go to get, do you read a horoscope daily and where do you find that? Because there are so many and I'm always looking for the one I like the best. Not the one but like
the one that
I really like. I want it kind of long, but not too long. And
there are hacks out there who
are I love Moon Omens. Is one of the sites I go to.
Okay.
Also, Nebula is pretty good. And I know that's like I'm not getting paid by any of these people, just so you know.
Yet. I'm writing it down. Right.
I was going to say Nebula is pretty good at kind of giving you a breakdown of what's happening. But the CoStar app is one I really like. CO-STAR CoStar, and it tells you like all your houses and stuff, and it'll tell you like kind of it's sometimes it's a little weirdly written because I think AI writes it a lot, but it gives you stuff like, for instance, what does mine say today? Where is mine for today?
I love this.
I do too, and
I do. By the way, I'm going to do a tarot.
Which actually, CoStar is really good because it also tells you how your moon in certain houses or different things how it relates.
What's it called? Repeat that.
CoStar.
CoStar. That's the app. Okay. So now I got a couple because
Rob, you should start your own. I'm just saying you should start your own website. You're very in tune in this.
It's funny. I really like it and stuff. I struggle because of the imposter syndrome kicks in for me, where I'm like, do I really know what I'm talking about? But every time I'm from Arkansas, so we have this little town called Eureka Springs, and it's very very mystical and cosmic.
Really?
It's also very LGBT and all that. But yeah, so every time we go there, because it's also very haunted, but every time we go there, I have a couple of like crystal shops I go to.
I want to do another.
So much so that they were like, the one time they go, "You come in here quite often, don't you?" And I'm
You
like,
want your regular?
"Yeah," I'm like once a year,
Yeah,
but
'cause I
it's
live in Michigan.
yeah, I'm
but-
like only at Christmas, but it has been about 15 Christmases. Yes.
Oh, funny.
Like,
Rob, if people want to find more Rob Sparks, where can they find you?
so I'm on Instagram, Rob Sparks _, all one word.
Okay.
I'm also on Facebook, but I don't know how much longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rob Sparks _, is where I'm at pretty much
So we
on
can
socials.
DM you for a personal reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may ask questions.
Questions.
The cool thing is I really enjoyed like explaining it to people, only because I think there's a lot we can pick. I think therapy is a great tool when people go to therapy, but I think sometimes just understanding everything's energy. And I think a lot of times people don't think about
I
that,
agree.
but every piece of what we do is energy. Whether it took energy to create a keyboard or whether you just think about how that's why you pick up on people's emotions, because those are so I think anytime you can really understand that and kind of get, if you could get a cheat sheet for what's going on in life, that I feel like that's what astrology is for you. It may not always be
Thanks.
dead on, and depending on other, you may not fit every single one of them, but I think it gives you a good solid 65% of, wow, this is where I'm at right now.
Well, and introspection never hurts.
I believe the energy is everywhere. And Michelle was talking to me in my backyard one time.
Oh.
And she was telling me about a recent death. And it was so sad. And when she said, didn't the birds stop? Or did they start?
They started.
It was quiet. And when
Yeah.
she said it, the birds started. All the birds that were in my wisteria started like, and she's like, oh, the birds know. Like I believe all that stuff. I believe everything is connected. And
Yeah. And
it's amazing.
I'm with you on that.
You
And
have to listen, right?
you
Yeah.
just have to pay attention. That's the biggest part.
Thanks, Rob.
I know this is so fun.
Yeah.
I
Thanks for
know.
having me.
I still have a billion more questions. We have to do a tarot time.
Yeah,
because
we'll
I do
do-
tarot.
Oh man, when you do that, I'll come back and just watch. 'Cause,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm a little scared, but like,
I know how to read them. It's an like I learned how to read them. Yeah, it's a learning thing. You can learn. Like it's not that mystic. Like you can learn. But all right. By the way, make sure you subscribe. And if you have a question, leave it below. Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.
follow us on socials. We have an Insta, 2 Michelle's, 1 question.
TikTok, 2 Michelle's 1 question. You can find us right now anyway on TikTok.
Still there.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I know it. I know it. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. And thanks, Rob Sparks.
Thank you.